Stay. Come on. Come on again. Come on again. Yeah. Yes, good stretch. Come on. Just calm down. That's it. My name's Hikmah, and I'm the advisor and guardian of Johnny. We were together in the womb. We were whole at one time, and then we separated. And there was like a lack of trust between both of us, which I have eventually won his trust. And I'm starting to trust him. Now he's listening more. But I think the split happened when he decided to deal with cruelty, bullying, child abuse, a lot of violence from his mother, abandonment. He never met his father. His mother had an extramarital affair. And then he had the only father he knew, which was his mother's husband. Then he left and abandoned Johnny to the disturbed will of his mother, who basically thought beating a child and to have that child fear for its life would make her life easier. So the first split came, I was kind of reminded of it the other day by something my nephew said to me when I was hanging out with him one time, and he says, "Do you still have an imaginary a friend?" And I was like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, Grandma told me you had an imaginary friend." I said, "Really?" He was like, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, anytime that you did something naughty and your mum came to chastise you, you would say, 'It's not me, it's the Johnny under the bed.'" And it's kind of always been like that. The Johnny under the bed is always, we've both done jail sentences together. And I've tried to convince him during those times to channel his energies into places where old men and racists don't get to control his liberty. And he's combative, you know. He's very aggressive, can be extremely violent, because he's obsessed with never ever being vulnerable again. So if I find the right way to talk to him, the energy goes in the right way. For instance, I say, you see those people that have power over you, you can take power away from them by not breaking the law. Then they don't exist anymore. And he loved that, you know. So consequently, we haven't done a jail sentence in a long time. Alhamdulillah. think the energy is very powerful because it kept you alive in the womb, and then you went through childbirth, contractions, all these type of things, you know what I mean? Life force is a very powerful thing, but if it's misdirected by a hurt mind, then it's a problem, you know what I mean? He wants to murder them. He doesn't care where it is. Doesn't care about the cameras or in the supermarket or tearing a bus driver out of his seat and stamping all over his head. You can hear he's coming more into the room now, right? Do you know what I mean? And it's very difficult to be philosophical when somebody's being a dick. Like, you know, somebody shouts racist abuse at his son on the street, you know, and I feel him wishing for the car to stop so he can kill everybody that's in it. But he doesn't think about how that will horrify his son. So I just have these small little pockets where I can just talk to him and tell him that. Then he listens because he trusts me. So I'm the only one that hasn't abandoned him or basically wrote him off as a complete fucking lunatic.
Has he always trusted you?
No. Calls me a fucking idiot. Do you know what I mean? This person has to die. You know what I mean? And I don't. He says, no, well, I've got to stick my knife in that person. After that, I'll listen to you. And those were difficult days. And then he started fucking about with guns. So that was an interesting phase. I didn't seem to have any power over him at that time, so maybe, I always look at it philosophically, he's supposed to learn that. That will come in handy one day. He obviously wants to have a good life. So in the pockets, when he's not triggered, he gets triggered by people not finding him the center of their world. You know what I mean? He's a child. He gets triggered by people not thinking about him. You know what I mean? People mocking him. People not saying sorry if they bump into him. It can, you know, you could just step on his shoe and he'll look at you. And he'll wait. And then if you don't say, he has to walk up to you and say, hey, you stood on my shoe. And if that person doesn't respond properly, he's capable of jumping on them, holding them by the head and biting their nose off and swallowing the nose so they don't get a nose back on their face because he wants to punish them. Do you know what I mean? So I've got to do a lot of work in the downtime. And I kind of came up with this idea of, like, in between the triggers, let me try and give him a quality of life. So I introduced him to reading. I introduced him to bike riding, and the internet really helped me because I could show him different things, amazing people, which is important for him to see, that not everybody is evil, you know? And have an interest, like the dog, and then get him interested in writing, and then it was my job to monetize that so I can keep him in this world a little bit more. So he's been in show business all his life. He's made money as a dancer. Well, I've learned the choreography and used his stamina. Do you know what I mean? And this hunger for adulation, and I could feel it. He loved it. Audiences clapping and all this, but he'd get very nervous when he got off stage because then he has to deal with the individuals. On stage, he's safe. You know what I mean? So in between, he's had a really good time. I think he said to me the other day when he woke up in this house, he says he feels like a squatter because he says, oh, I got the house for him. You know, I built the gym so he can let off steam, but I'm the one that has to do the workout. Yeah? And, you know, the dog room downstairs. And you know, and people love him as an artist. Because I've always been his future self. It's just, I've been constantly trying to get him here, you know. Let's go. Bang that. Yeah. Good joke. Good dog. Ah. When you rub them down like this is where you find out if they're in pain. Because you know, you're touching all the tendons and everything, so anything wrong, she's gonna look or snap or something like that, or make a noise. So she's fine. You're rolling around in your spit, making yourself stinky. Huh?
Would you say that you kept Johnny out of jail for quite a while, but in that environment, like of I suppose solitude, because it's interesting because in this house it's pretty much you have people visit you, but it's pretty much in, you know, you spend a lot of time.
It's us and the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that? Would you say that's necessary for Johnny at the moment, or is he getting better?
Yeah, he needs to be in solitude to be cool with himself. You know what I mean? So I'm always telling him, look, it's you having a shower. It's you cleaning yourself. Do you know what I mean? It's you trimming your beard. It's you ironing your clothes. It's you cleaning your house. You know what I mean? And it only has to be him, so it's amplified. He's maintaining this place. You know? So it's good, it's healthy at the moment. I mean, it's been a job of inches, man. Because when he's not ready, you just don't ask him to do anything. It's best not. You know? Because at the end of the day, I know beneath all the rage wouldn't be there if he didn't think he had a right to live a life. He would have committed suicide. He's in rage because he knows what he wants, and I knew it. When you just want to have fun and you want to be loved, right? And eventually he listened. It's like, yeah, I said, I can make that well for you. What's that? I make it full of dance and poetry and films and dogs.
Thrown in a pit for inhuman cruelty. Reminds me of genocide, bless. Stay by my side. Your life I'll protect.
And children. You know what I mean? So now when I say to him, you're going to mess it all up, all the stuff that we built, he goes, okay then. Love was more attractive to me than vengeance, than being a narcissist, obsessed with power. You know what I mean? I remember reading him once what a narcissist is, and the narcissism in him hated it. I'm not like that. That's a perfect trick. Do you know what I mean? So he just wants to be everything the opposite, even though he might have the tendencies. If you look at the egocentric environment we're living in now, where everybody's plugged into their likes and heart fixes, you can understand why he stays inside a lot. Because those egos are the indications of somebody that doesn't give a fuck about somebody else. And that's where all his pain started. People have said to me before that, like, you're violent. I said, no, I am the violence. My brain has picked up all, like, according to my circumstances, my brain went, these are the best things you need to do to protect yourself. Fight back. Fight back and be fearsome. Good girl. Good girl. So anyway, Johnny says, Assalamu alaikum. Is that it?
Whose limits you inflicting? Spreading your insecurities because you had no discipline. Couldn't make the extra mile to life's surprises. Now you lie about it being impossible. Become an imposter to the fresh populace. Repeating that's impossible. Impossible for who you may be. You're the one that was afraid to jump and find what you are made of. You lack bravery. That's not us. Not us. Not us. Not us. In order to make the impossible become possible, be awesome.